Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. Here we are with another Tekken character trailer and a little bit of a surprise because it's not the usual time. The Tekken World Tour Finals are happening right now and they decided to put out another character trailer for Tekken 8. This time it is for Alisa Boskonovich, the beloved ditzy chainsaw wielding android. Yeah, I know that's a decent combination of words there if you don't know the character, but yeah, that's kind of what she's all about. She has rocket punches, she can take off her head and beat you over the head with her own head, chainsaws, can fly, all that fun stuff. And she's showing up here in Tekken 8 with some new tricks, some modified moves, and a much improved heat mode, making those chainsaws seemingly extra deadly. This is a game now, unlike previous Tekkens, where chip damage is very much a factor, and it would appear that the chainsaws, as you would expect, are pretty proficient at the chip damage thing. So there is a lot to go over in this trailer, so let's rewind and start at the beginning. So first up, we always have a tagline. What is Alisa's tagline? Well, she is the destroying automaton. Kind of a serious title for a desperately unserious character. Like, I wouldn't classify her as a joke character, but she's about as serious as the bears are. Like, she is the slapstick character of the game. Granted, slapstick with like a side of Leatherface because of the chainsaws, I suppose, but very ditzy, very clumsy. Her head falls off all the time. She kicks her own head at you as an attack. Like Kazuya or Jin, she is not. And keeping with some of the newfound savagery here, we have our opening quote, and it's a doozy. "Hi, I'm Alisa, now you must die." And then gives a nice proper bow. So as we open up into our first little bit of gameplay, there's actually a nice story being told. So first up here, we open to a sidestep, and it's sidestep 4, and bops Lars in the leg. And now here's some of that storytelling. So after the sidestep 4, you can see here Alisa goes for down 2-4 and gets blocked. Sure, fair enough. And Lars goes to counterattack, and Lars goes for forward 2-4, and Alisa blocks it. So in Tekken 7, this specific scenario would be a punish. And instead here, Alisa gets to block. So the numbers may be whatever they may be, we don't know, but down 2-4 is certainly much safer on block now. And now Alisa, after blocking, goes to attack here and stand 2 into a big old android, mega fist here. So as far as I can tell, this is, I wouldn't call it exactly a just frame mechanic, but basically if you hit 2 right as 2 connects, then she'll do the rocket punch. All I can really say is Android 16 would be proud. Our next gameplay sequence here has some fun surprises in it. So first off, run 2 now does chip damage on top of being plus on block, pretty handy, and can also go directly into chainsaw stance. And then this fun stuff. So now while in chainsaw stance, she hits him with the forward 1, which scares Lars off, goes into dual boot, which is basically like a command dash while you're in chainsaw stance, and then hits him with basically a chainsaw hell sweep. Specifically, this is dual boot forward 2-2. So nice high damage low off the dual boot dash. Seems pretty cool to me. Lots of fun new chainsaw toys just going to be seen all throughout this trailer. Also, our next segment here. So punish juggle, that stuff's easy enough to explain, but more chainsaws. Block the big flip, down 4-2 launch, sure. You get this elaborate piece of business here. This is the new up forward 1. So she'll uppercut you, rip her head off, throw her head at you, the head explodes. As you do. And from this also gets to go directly into chainsaw stance in the dual boot. This is dual boot forward 1, and this is like straight up like Mortal Kombat X Leatherface chainsaw attacks here. I half expect Lars to just fall in half and just see brutality across the screen. Like, the chainsaws are inherently vicious, yes, but you could accuse Alisa of a lot of the chainsaw moves lacking impact, not so much now. And what do you do after that? Well, you strike a cute pose naturally enough. So after this next segment here, just down back 3, Lars presses a button and gets smoked by the power crush. So this is the old back 4-2. New notation is just up back 2 now, but effectively the same move. And after the power crush, well, you get wall splatted. And then we crouch, go for wall standing 2, but it's a little different. I'm actually not 100% sure on this one here. There is a hit spark before the move goes off. So I don't know if it's like a just frame timing or not, because it's a little bit different from the usual wall standing 2, because it's a rocket punch. whatever it may be, certainly quite elaborate, and does a tornado and resplats the enemy on the wall. And from there, we hit the enemy with 4, 2, 3, 3, and I'm sure it does quite a bit of damage. Now here, we go into our cinematic, our big jokey cinematic. You may have seen it before, but it is pretty good. Once again here, Alisa, very ditzy comedy character. She'd lose her head if it wasn't screwed on. Oh, wait. Thankfully here, Jack 8, he's a good boy. He was raised right, even if he's a little annoyed by the whole comedy shtick, and gives Alisa back her head. So now they can have a proper fight. Now Alisa repays Jack's generosity by assaulting him. So we go into our next sequence here, and this is sort of a universal change. So this is down 3+4, so the sweep, the snake edge, if you will. And many launching sweeps, like combo OK sweeps, now basically force the tornado at the start of the move. So while you'll still get your combo, you'll still get some appreciable damage in, you're not necessarily going to get a full length combo like you normally would, like say Tekken 7. Launching sweeps get people really up in their feelings, so this is a move to kind of maintain a lot of players' sanity. So after getting launched from the sweep here, whiff 2, 3, 3, keeps the enemy up in the air with a tailspin, jab, heat burst to rebound the enemy. We burned the tornado at the start, so we got to keep the combo going some way. And we end off here with forward 4, 1, 4. And once again, for those not familiar with the character, Alisa very silly, ripping off her head, kicking her head, and growing it back. Now this next segment, very interesting because it's showcasing a bit of a design philosophy change I've noticed quite a bit in Tekken 8. So Alisa hits with forward 1+2, brings out the chainsaws, but it does not knock down this time around. Instead, it leaves Jack standing, and effectively she's allowed to link, like say Street Fighter, into standing 3-2. Why do this instead of, knockdown, crumple, juggle combo, all that kind of stuff? Because they're still standing. That means standing 3-2 being a heat engager, while you can start, doing a heat engager and doing all your heat-based pressure. A decent amount of characters have moves like this where the move used to knock down but now leaves them standing, specifically so they can recombo into the move, link into the move, and get a heat engager from it. So after this, we go into our heat smash, just so we can see what it looks like. Two things to note. One, the beginning reminds me a lot of Morgan from Darkstalkers, her Valkyrie turn move. Specifically, that was her drill super. Maybe I'm just reading into something that's not there, but regardless anyways. And the other thing, while in heat, the chainsaws are out and they're glowing orange now. Chainsaw moves while in heat mode now do chip damage. And there's not tons of footage out there with Alisa, but from what I've seen, substantial chip damage at that. So you really got to watch out. And we're going to get a small example in a second here. So, blocks the big move here, punishes with 1+2. This is a new 1+2. The old one still exists, just a different notation. We'll see that in a little bit. And once again, she just rips off her head and just crushes you with her own head. And also, for trailer's sake, this is a heat engager. So here now, we're in heat mode. We're going to go into chainsaw stance and dual boot, dash forward, and it says dual boot 1. And have a look at this. It's a lot of hits. Jack's just glowing orange all the time here. It probably does a lot of chip damage. I'm really interested to see the exact numbers here, but I'm sure it's very satisfying. I'm a big fan of moves with a lot of multiple hits that do a lot of chip damage. It just really fulfills like the fighting game dopamine part of the brain. Now after this here, dual boot 1 is a very advantage on block. And now that he's very negative here, Jack attempts a sidestep and gets hit by chainsaw stance back 1. Now Jack being Jack, I don't know if he's like the best example of showcasing this. Like a skinnier character like Lily might actually be able to sidestep it. Because you see it kind of hits on an angle, right? Like Tekken hurt boxes are kind of like what you see is what you get. Therefore, the big characters like Jack and the Bears are not the best sidesteppers. But still is what it is, gets bopped by the move. Next segment here, I guess Alisa's trying to make Baraka and the rest of the Tarkatans proud here because she's swinging those chainsaws like in a very Baraka style way. This is specifically chainsaw stance 4, 2, 1, 2. And the only thing missing for me here is the Cyrax assist call right after the fact. Like I said earlier, the chainsaw swinging this time around with a lot of these new moves are a lot more vicious. I am a big fan of these animations. So you can see after the hits connect here, this is a heat dash cancel. So following through the enemy and going for back 2, 3. This is a new move. And you can see here back 2, 3 also relaunches here into a tornado state. So good combo filler, if anything. Then we hit the old 1+2 into this, which is we're going to take a detour here for a second. This is a really good spot to mention if you are somehow unaware at the moment, Yohei Shimbori, the longtime director of the Dead or Alive franchise, now works for Bandai Namco and is specifically one of the bigwigs on Tekken 8. Because this stage interaction here, which is basically a mid-screen ground bounce danger zone, is straight out of Dead or Alive. Now, I know you've seen perhaps some other DOA influences, right? Like say the wall bounces and all that kind of stuff, like other danger zone stuff. Much more just generally cinematic presentation as a whole in Tekken 8 as well, with a lot of different, more cinematic camera angles on a lot of moves, right? Very DOA style presentation. So if you're ever wondering why Tekken 8's sort of taking a shift more in that Dead or Alive direction, that's why. Because the old Dead or Alive head honcho is working on this game. And hey, as far as I'm concerned, this is all upside. I love Dead or Alive. There's also a couple little Virtua Fighter things that are sneaking their way in here as well, which is good. Once again here, Tekken is evolving as a game. And evolving for the better, in my opinion. And after our big Dead or Alive style ground bounce here, like Danger Zone style deal here, we have forward 4, forward +1 to finish off the combo. And hey, ending the trailer, we all know how this goes. It's rage art time. So we start our big rage art here, and Alisa is gonna keep the silly factor up pretty high. So chainsaw launcher, sure. Follows through with the rockets, that's cool. And then it's time for the silly. Some people would say, in the middle of a fight, it's not a good time to lose your head. It's not the way to get ahead in life. A shame she wasn't more headstrong. She'll never be the head of the Mishima Zaibatsu. And you know what? Okay, I'll stop now. I'll stop. But yeah, so silly to say the least. But silly is Alisa's brand, so can't fault her for it too much. And that is the Alisa trailer. So we got some new toys to play around with, a lot of new vicious chainsaw-based offense. We got some things just tweaked up a little bit. And like many of the returning characters of Tekken 8, kind of just looking like a better version of the classic character. Now, I've said this before, because we had the Panda trailer only a couple days ago, but yeah, not too many of these trailers left. As of today, as I'm making this video, the Tekken World Tour Finals is happening right now and running throughout the weekend. This is the big send-off for Tekken 7, so if you want to see a lot of high-quality matches, I would suggest go checking it out. And also, I would say it's safe to expect an announcement or two for Tekken 8 itself, probably in the vein of DLC characters. Whatever happens, the news as it may be, you can find it covered right here on the YouTube channel. And of course, when Tekken 8 launches, news, infos, guides, combos, all that kind of stuff, you can find it all here, so keep checking out the channel come the launch of Tekken 8. And that all said, that is the end of the video. So, well, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. And go out and play some Tekken.
This is the love making.